Hey Joy fam, welcome to today's video. Today we'll be talking about our garage design. We'll go over the size and also we'll be tackling our storage solutions. Earlier on we had bought those shelves from Home Depot, and today we'll be going over how to build garage shelves for storage and organization. Well, if you're new and this is your first time of seeing our videos, welcome. My name is Dio. My wife and I love designing homes and making homes customs. So if that's something you can relate to, check us out and stick around. For this project, you can get away with just a drill and screws if properly planned, but I use the following tools to complete this project. Now, for any successful project, the planning is the most important. After discussing with Mary, we agreed to 3 layers of shelves and to build it around the garage freezer. So I made the first levels to start at the height of the freezer. In addition, I have a bunch of large boxes from moving houses a lot of times, and I wanted them to be able to fit in between the shelves. So I made the next level start at 60 inches and the last level at 8 feet. I wanted the depth to be 30 inches to fit totes and also luggage boxes we had around the house. Also, drawing it out makes it easier to plan your material list and cut list. I'll display the cut list as well as attach it in the description. For this, we used 4 sheets of plywood, 12 pieces of 2x4x8, 4 pieces of 2x4x10, and 8 pieces of 2x4x12. Each piece of the 2x4x12 should give me about 5 27-inch supports for the framing. We got our supplies from Home Depot, and as we say most of our DIY videos, Home Depot is always so gracious enough to help you cut your wood, so why not use them? We had them cut down the materials to size. I decided to build a frame on the floor and then put it up on the walls when it's complete. I used 3-inch nails and spaced the center studs 15 to 16 inches apart. Since I was using 1/2-inch plywood, I wanted enough support underneath. And guys, most of the techniques and processes I used are gotten from YouTube and just experimentation. I'm learning as I go. It's just a little over a year that I bought my first power tool and started DIY. So feel free to teach me something and learn something as well. So those knee pads are a lifesaver, if I must say. And I know it's common practice to drill a pilot hole before screwing into lumber. But for this project, I did not because of the screws I got. And I didn't have any problem with the lumber splitting. I mean, everything went in once and it was pretty great. I'll make sure to link the screws. I got them from Home Depot, and I'll make sure to link them in the description. After every phase, everyone deserves a happy dance. Good Dio, good Dio. So after building the frame, I started attaching it to the wall from the bottom. I used bar stools, which had a perfect height initially, to put the first frame. Since I had my wife, she helped me hold it up while I screwed it into the studs. We made sure to use levelers while attaching each frame to the studs in the wall, just to keep everything balanced and equal. And also, one handy tool to have is the stud finder. Here Mary is using that to find the studs. And it's like so hard to get a perfect stud finder. Those things sometimes can be so untrustworthy. Or maybe I've just not found the perfect one. If you have any ideas or suggestions on what I should use, please let me know. But yeah, we had to make sure we're screwing those pieces of frames into the studs because that's what had the sturdiness and makes it solid. So it's so fulfilling when the pieces start coming together. and you look at it and think, yeah, I did that. And in a previous video, I shared that I made a bet with my wife that I could complete this project in a day. Well, let's just say I've been washing a lot of dishes and giving a lot of massages with no strings attached. Let's get back to the project before I get carried away. You can also use spacers to put in the other levels of shelves, but I use Mary as my spacer and we used a laser leveler as a guide to keep them level. One disadvantage of using your spouse as a tool is that sometimes they can't wait for the project to be complete before dumping things on it. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's been about 80 days since I agreed that I could do this in one day. But in my defense, like Mary could not even wait for these things to be up before she put all these things on there. Anyways, I'll show you how far I've come and what else is next. Yes, because I've never finished. We just put out the stuff and the next thing we started putting stuff on there. Look, evidence speaks for itself.
I mean, the trick.
What is the trick? I mean, day 1, day 80, what's the difference?
Okay, let's get back to building these shelves. So now we have all 3 levels of shelves put up and attached to the studs.
So one thing I discovered during this project is that a lot of the 2x4 framing lumber that you buy are not perfectly straight. I had to, when you're trying to attach different pieces of framing together, you find out that it's not level, and that just brings up a lot of problems.
One such problem it created was by the time I put the plywood on top of each frame, there were some gaps at the edge because I leveled each frame to the ground instead of leveling it to itself. So due to this imperfect nature of these wood pieces that we buy, there's a chance when you want to add 2 different frames together that they don't align. And the simple fix for that is just to use the clamp. I use my clamp to hold them together and put a screw through them. So earlier I had stained the plywood outside with the deck stain, which came out pretty well, and then I got lazy and the remaining piece of plywood I decided to stain it inside the garage. And yeah, that was just a lazy way out, and I paid for it because it messed up the floors and the walls. And please don't do that. Just try to make sure your environment is clean as you do this work the best you can. But yeah, that was my rookie mistake.
I think the shelves are looking good.
I applied 2 coats of the waterproof semi-transparent stain just for protection and to add to the aesthetics. And I must say, I'm really loving this floating look the shelves are giving me, but I know I'm going to be putting this thing through a lot. I'm adding a lot of weight on them, so I'll need some support to these shelves. So for the legs, instead of screwing one piece to the outside of the shelves, I decided to break up the legs and put them in between the shelves. I thought it might give me a cleaner look. And right now I'm just using the Craig hole jig to make pocket holes in the legs after cutting them on the miter saw. And after drilling about the 6th leg and putting in the pocket holes, I started questioning my decision. Should I have just gone the easier way? And I'm like, well, I'm already in it. It's too late to turn back. And I just hope it looks better and it's worth the extra step. I used the squares to make sure the legs were flushed and were at right angles to the shelves. So here is a close-up look of the stain, and I'm just gonna go ahead and apply stain to the legs that I just put on and any other spot I might have missed shelves. So at this point, this is probably day 90 or day 100. I mean, who's counting? Day 100, day 1, it's all the same. I think I still won the bet, but who's counting? Anyways, we also decided to add some bike racks to the garage to put the kids' bike, and Babe and I also want to get into cycling, riding our bikes around the neighborhood. So we're yet to buy that. That's still something we're looking at. But yeah, this is a good time to install those the bike racks, put the kids' bike on there, and I also found that's a good place to put the strollers for the kids. And I probably might need to get more racks. Yes, it's all coming together. Look at that. I like how the bikes are neatly tucked away from the wall, and you can put something underneath. I like the strollers, double strollers hanging over there, and there's another double stroller underneath. And let's just look before. Let's just look at the before. We've come a long way. Babe, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of myself. We still have ways to go, but I'm just gonna enjoy this. Took a few days, maybe a little more than a few days, but look at that. Look at the shelves. I love how they stain. I didn't just leave it at the regular color. So the future plans for this garage is to do the floor and the workbench. If you haven't seen our other DIY decor and styling videos, go check them out. Look, if you haven't seen our living room fireplace surround shiplap video, I'll link it right here. Go check it out. That's an absolute must watch. It was a spur of the moment DIY. Mary just came one day. You know what? Go watch it and let us know what you think. Thank you for watching this video, and until next time, enjoy Famm.